Talk about amines. This is beautiful. Let's put the preparation reactions of amines. Number one, we saw that you reduce an amide. Okay, we know about reduction now. We know about reduction of aldehydes, ketones, carboxylic acids, esters, all to give alcohols. And then we know about the reduction of an amide to give an amine. Remember that. So it's going to be, we have this, and we know that reduction of amide, carboxylic acid, and ester, we have to use the stronger one, which is LiAlH4. Okay. Then for the other ones, we use NaBH4. So here it's like this. Whatever your amide is, okay, we don't really care. Okay, even if these are hydrogens. Then what happens is if you come and you reduce it using LiAlH4, what did we say happens? The double bond just becomes two H's for amide, okay? That is what happens. But for the other guys, you know that this becomes an OH. But either way, it's going to be like this, and this is an H, and an H then goes to N, bonded to each H's. This is what happens, okay? Now, the other way to make amines is going to be nice because it is just going to be using haloalkanes or alkyl halides. Alkyl halides are best friends. So here we can say using alkyl halides, okay, or haloalkanes. These are very good guys. These haloalkanes, we can use them to make amines. And we know how we make alkyl halides. Either we can add the HCl or HBr, we can add it to an alkene, we can add it to an alcohol. We saw how we can do that. Now here we are seeing how now we can make your amines using alkyl halide. So what is it? You should know that if you have your alkyl halide or haloalkane, okay, using alkyl halides or haloalkane, that's the other name, haloalkane. It's an alkane with a halogen, okay? So if you have a haloalkane or alkyl halide, right? Haloalkane plus NH3, which is ammonia, then you are going to make a primary amine. We always use alkyl halide to make amines. So we have alkyl halide. If we add ammonia, we'll make a primary amine. If we take a haloalkane or alkyl halide, okay, haloalkane, and instead of adding ammonia, if we add a primary amine, okay, then we are going to get a secondary amine. Now we want to see, what do you mean when you say primary amine and secondary amine? Well, for amine and for amide, it's just look at the nitrogen. How many carbons is it bonded to? If it is bonded to 2 carbons, then it's going to be a secondary. 3 carbons, tertiary. You get it. So you just look at the nitrogen. Okay, it is always going to be bonded to this carbon with a double bond. If it's for amide, then this, if it's bonded to another, this now makes it a secondary. Okay, if it's just like this and 2 hydrogens, then this is a primary amide. Okay, for the amine, it's still going to be the same. If it has a carbon and a carbon, this makes it a tertiary. It's bonded to 3. Okay, amine and amide is the same thing. Okay, look at the number of carbons. So here, if you now have a haloalkane, remember we always start at haloalkanes. We always start at haloalkane. If we now end a secondary amine, then we are going to end up having a tertiary amine. We'll end up having a tertiary amine. Okay, we'll end up having a tertiary amine. So let's put an example. Now, what you must know is that this happens in 2 steps. This happens in 2 steps. And what makes it happen in 2 steps? Let's see. What you should know is what makes this happen is the way that ammonia, actually you should add an amine, and you should then also put NaOH. I should put that. You should then also put NaOH because that's what happens in the 2nd step. And you end up having an amine. So let's put what it happens. What you must know is that nitrogen is greedy. And you're going to see it in the reactions again of amines. This nitrogen, whenever it sees a hydrogen or a carbon, it's going to want it no matter if it's full or not. So let's have here our ammonia. We can start with your, remember we said a haloalkane. So let's put it CH3 and a halogen, like chlorine or whatever we use an X to represent them. If we then add ammonia, what is going to happen? We said nitrogen is greedy. So what he's going to do, once he sees a carbon, he is going to force a bond with him, okay? He's going to remove X and bond with him. Even right now, nitrogen is full because nitrogen can only do 3 bonds. But when he sees, he's going to say, no, come here. So what is going to happen is you're going to have nitrogen bonded to this CH3. So to remove the halogen and it will be bonded to a CH3, okay? Which the CH3 is fine because carbon needs 4 bonds, so he's fine. But this nitrogen already had 3 hydrogens, okay? It already had 3 hydrogens. So what? What is going to happen now? It's going to become a positive because it has too many bonds, okay? And then once it's like this, then it's going to attract this X because the X would be an X minus and it will come back and you end up having this, okay? Now, once you have this, you are not going to end here because what you then do is you then add that NaOH, okay? Because what you actually want is you want ammonia. You want an amine, I'm sorry, not ammonia. You want an amine. So once you add NaOH, Na is going to bring this guy. We know that. It's going to bring this guy. So what you end up having is you end up having H3C. And this now balances, okay? He's going to remove one. He always does that. He will then remove one hydrogen. He always does that. He always removes one hydrogen. So the CH3 and this N will always remove one hydrogen to become NH2. And also this guy goes because he will go to that. That hydrogen goes to OH, becomes water. So you have H2O. Then this Na will call the X. So you have NaX. That's what happens, okay? Let's put let's put something like an amine already, a primary amine. And we wanted to add to meet to a haloalkane again. Remember, we are using a haloalkane. Haloalkane, please meet a primary amine, which is something like this guy, okay? This will call it an R, this carbon and hydrogens, okay? So it'll be R bonded to an NH2. This is your primary amine. What's going to happen here? We know what's going to happen. This X will be thrown away, and this hungry guy is going to bond to this, okay? Here we can call this an R prime. So what's going to happen is we are going to have here R bonded to NH2, which is also bonded to an R prime. And when this happens, this we can usually write it as an R2NH, okay? It's like we just have this two, so R2NH2, okay? And now it has too many bonds because it has this R and this one, and that makes it 4 and these two hydrogens. So it's now going to become positive. Then the X will come back and become an X minus. Then you add NaOH. Then what's going to happen? We said it always throws away a hydrogen. So you now have R2NH, okay? This N is just bonded to an R and another carbon there and an H. Now it's fine. But what happens is this H takes the OH and becomes water, so it will be H2O. Then this X minus that was there, the plus is on nitrogen. Make sure the X minus which was there comes together with an Na and it will become an NaX. So you say plus NaX. Okay, now let's do the last one where we are going to have again a haloalkane, okay? And it is now meeting a secondary amine, okay? It's now meeting a secondary amine, which is R2NH, this thing. This amine bonded to two carbons. So what then happens? We know what happens. This guy is greedy. This N is going to call this carbon, which is like another R. So you end up having R3, then NH. And this makes it be positive. Then this X will come and you'll be having an X minus. Then you add NaOH to break that alliance. And remember, it throws away the H. And you now have an R3N. Okay, R3N. Then this H which takes an OH, it becomes H2O. Then plus this X minus meets an Na and it becomes NaX. These are the three ways, okay? These are the other three ways to make that you are making your amine, okay? Sorry for putting it right here. So these are the other ways of making your amine using alkyl halides or haloalkanes. So here is your alkyl halide or haloalkane, okay? Alkyl halide. If you add ammonia, you make a primary amine. If you add a primary amine to a haloalkane, you end up having a secondary amine. This is it. Okay? And here is a primary amine. And it is added to a alkyl halide. Okay, now if you have an alkyl halide, you end a secondary amine. This is a secondary amine. You end up having a tertiary amine, 3,0 amine. Okay, make no mistake. How good is this? How good is this? So we've seen that nitrogen connected to carbons is also called an amine if it's connected to 3 carbons and like this. Okay, make no mistake. How good is this? These are the ways to make your amine. Okay, one is reduction of an amide. Then here, using an alkyl halide or haloalkane, either add ammonia or a primary amine or a secondary amine, then you get amines again. This is how you do it, okay? That is it for now. See you in the next one where we talk about the reactions of amines. Goodbye.